Welcome everyone. We're live post game CT with my man EJ with the Knicks picking up another big road win. How we doing, fam?
Doing well, CT. As always, you have to be doing well when the Knicks win a game that you thought that there was a chance they might lose. But Captain Clutch, aka Jalen Brunson, aka Rick's son, he came to play. He came to ball out. A couple other players did really well. And I don't know if
Mm.
you know this, but quickly after the game, Julius Randle, there was the police were looking for him because he bodied that dunk, man. He bodied that dunk. So uh, there are a lot of police departments looking for him right now. But how are you doing, my friend?
Facts, right? Yeah, that was a highlight play for a game that was not going to say boring, but it was tight
Yeah,
tonight. It was tight. We see in the wire to wire. The Knicks lost the first quarter and the second quarter, you know,
yeah,
and we see the lead swings. EJ, the Knicks were down 8 at one point this game and up 15
yeah,
at one point this game. But on the road, these wins, the Knicks. This is probably that game where the Knicks felt flat. Early on the road. I think we do sometimes play down to some opponents. Because a lot of our guys are shouldering a big load.
yeah. I mean, that was a concern that I had during the course of the game. Um, the concern that the first couple of quarters felt uneven. The first couple of quarters felt like the game had no flow. It felt as if like maybe both teams, not just the Knicks, they both felt a bit lethargic. But again, by the time we got into the third quarter, that flow seemed to pick up, and especially by the fourth quarter, you could definitely tell that both sides they were way more energetic than they had been before.
Yeah. Let's comment about the crowd first, EJ, because
That's what we talk about, bro.
road road or no road, tonight was pro Knicks as it
Absolutely.
usually is, fam. Yeah, you could hear it, and cheaper tickets, and I'm just glad New York Knicks Nation in DC or wherever they travel from actually could could rock out tonight and see a big win.
Yeah, I mean, we've been spending like the last few times talking about the importance of the crowd at MSG. And,
Mm,
I think one of the things that we may not necessarily say enough, and we totally understand this, we're both fans. I live in New York City, but it's hard to get Knicks tickets at Madison Square Garden. If you want to
a
get a
lot.
great seat, it's cost prohibitive. It's not. It's and I think that's kind of why, like the last few times we've discussed the crowd at MSG, when you look at that lower bowl, it tends to be people who have a little bit more, financial influence, and they have the ability
Mm,
to afford a fancy night on the town where they might get dressed up and they might want to be seen. But if you're Joe average Knicks fan like CT and EJ, you're going to be up in the 300s. But one of the smart things that a lot of us do is that we go local if we're in New York City. So we go to Philly, we go to Boston, still cost prohibitive, but we go to DC. DC is like a great place for New Yorkers to go. Only about 3.5 hours by Amtrak, and so New York City represented in DC, and that's what we were talking about, wanting for the Garden, wanting for that arena to be an intimidating place. We took over DC tonight, and you could hear it, you could feel it, and it was palpable.
yeah, like you said it. Yeah, fans were treated to some highlight plays. Julius
Oh my
Randle
gosh, yeah,
splitting dude's face.
yeah, yeah.
um, Vicious. That was a hammer. And
I
how do
told
they
you that.
try to rob us of taking that call away as well?
Yeah,
You know, imagine if we had to use a challenge. We had to use a challenge. Imagine.
yeah.
Um,
Listen, they got to stop with that. Like the replays for every single highlight play. I understand why we do it. Like, but 20 years ago, that's a replay. That's a kind of move where like the crowd gets into it. Like the issue I have with some of these replays is that it sometimes take the energy out of how awesome the play was, because you have
yeah,
to stop and say, wait, is it going to count? It was an incredible play,
yeah,
but is it going to count? So you have to wait. So instead of getting like the full energy from the crowd, the full energy from you at home, you kind of like, oh, that was awesome, but let's just wait. Okay, it counts. It counts.
Yeah, I think they were a little salty. You know, we were taking over the home arena, and the volume was just put up a notch. You
Yeah.
know, with that hammer. And salute to the chat, everyone out here. Replay gang, Nick Streets, beautiful win. Yeah, Lily Phillips, great win. Yeah, like we always say, EJ, you know, can't take any win for granted. There's ugly ones, pretty ones, but the Knicks are now 5 games over 500. I had to think for a second.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
how does it feel for a fan, EJ, for the Knicks to be 5 games over and 24-19?
I mean, there are lots of ways of cutting where we are in terms of the our record, the standings, our the road record. I mean, that's not anything to sneeze at. That's really impressive to for this kind of team. And again, if you're an objective Knicks fan, you did not come in here with championship aspirations. You realize what the squad was. You imagine that they'd be fighting for the playoffs, and but to be doing this well on the road, that's there's a
Cool.
good team, but are we now becoming a scary team? I'm not saying a great team, but a solid, scary team. And I know that's not kind of sounds like I'm doing like what content creators do, like they edge on words. No, but I'm talking about that kind of team where they may not win a championship, but they're the kind of team you may not want to play because even if they don't win a series, they might extend a series. Because scary teams, they win games on the road.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the Washington Wizards are not world beaters, but I'm looking at the entirety of the Knicks' road record this season, and the fact that again, which one of us would be complaining if we were in the sixth seed, possibly looking to look at the fifth seed. Obviously, there's some
Yeah.
distance between Philly and ourselves, but again, I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy. How about you, CT?
Yeah, definitely. Like Lily, yeah, hits on as well. Road record impeccable. Yes, we just got to improve the home record, you know,
Mhm.
and it speaks to the mental approach, I think, for both, for good and bad. Um, and yeah, like Dirty says, proud of the guys. Really getting blown out. My thoughts are on that note. We're not really seeing, you know, we're seeing swings within games, but usually we're on the better end of these swings. You know, we're not we're not getting down like any more than 10 points. Like, you know, these past few years, we'll be down double digits quite a bit
Yeah,
in
yeah,
games. Like, yeah, tonight on the road, we were down 8 max, and that was at the very beginning of the game when we just came out slow. And we had Kyle Kuzma had a great game for
yeah.
Washington. Um, you know, they got some depth. They had Adbida, Hachimura, KP, which I'll get your thoughts on with some news. KP gave some quotes today when a
Yeah.
story came out. Um, but yeah, I didn't really think the Knicks had to get out of third gear. EJ, did you really feel like it was just that game where we were stuck in third?
Yeah, yeah. It definitely felt like it. It was one of those games where you felt as if the Knicks knew that they were a better team, and they may have played with that in mind. And even though they're a better team, they're not the kind of team that can always afford to think that way. And so you may have seen them kind of realize, like, wait, this is losing might be possible here. So let's just kick this into gear. Now, like, Washington is not, it's an up and down team. They didn't have Bradley Beal tonight. And also, like,
Mm. EJ just looks like he just popped out, but yeah, buzzer. Where's Sims? Yeah, we'll talk about that tonight as EJ comes back in a minute. But yeah, salute to Knicks Nation out here. The Knicks 5 games over, and he's back.
yeah, you know what
Yeah.
happened? Julius Randle he dunked on my Wi-Fi. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But really quickly, what I was saying before, sorry about that, Knicks Buzz fam. Um, you know, we were surprised that KP, even I was surprised that KP played today because there were suggestions that he may not play tonight. So with that, that might have kind of changed the energy levels, and so, but to still win the game. Um, and of course, there had to be the obligatory scary moments in the fourth quarter. That's definitely something that we have to clean up. But at the same time, um, I definitely do think that they had a couple of other gears that they could have gone up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. They've got depth. They've got some nice players,
Mhm.
but our role players stepped up. We'll talk about Quickley's performance because whilst it wasn't huge night in terms of scoring, Quickley made a lot of key plays down the stretch. I love that play where he made that big cut. RJ was a willing distributor tonight. He got some great plays, under his belt tonight, scoring, taking on the defender, getting and ones. Mitch
Yeah.
was Mitch, getting some fantastic highlight reel blocks. I think, yeah, everyone kind of stood up. Randle just didn't have the shot going, but Brunson took over when
Yeah.
he kept the scoreboard ticking over. You know,
Yeah, you know what? It's one of the things that I appreciate about having a point guard is the ability to know how to be measured. Like to have that ability to be calm and say, okay, well, you know what? Now's my time. I'm going to take the shot. Now's my time. I'm going to distribute. And that's one of the things that we talked about during the preseason. We talked about it when we were doing our preseason predictions. And the concern that we had was, do we actually understand what it means to have a viable and reliable point guard? And I can't emphasize this enough. Like the whole Mitchell, where we were going to get him, that overshadowed the importance of signing Jalen Brunson. And
mm.
if we didn't realize it at the start of the season, Jalen Brunson is showing out and
Oh,
basically saying to all of Knicks Nation, if you did not understand who I am, here it is. Here it
yeah,
is. And the other piece of it too is that there's little question that he has a legitimate case to claim an all-star position this year.
yeah, definitely. It's growing. I was just about to hit on that, like you did, and the chat's on fire too. But yeah, I'm noticing a lot more national media accounts starting to really, because the numbers just can't be ignored anymore.
Oh
I
yeah.
think we might see a streak of a 30 point consecutive game streak. Got to check on that. Got to
Yeah.
check on that. But how many 30-point games this season? We'll start to next show. We'll put a we'll put a question out there, and anyone can guess. We might do a giveaway on that. How many 30-piece games will we see for the season for Brunson? Because the way it's going, he's gonna get close to whatever it is. Just off the top of my head, EJ.
Yeah. And here's the other thing too, as I'm looking at the box score as well. One turnover.
Yeah,
One turnover tonight. And so that's again, and I can't emphasize this enough, is all right, I guess it's time. We might need like a sounder for this, like EJ's random Nick of the night, former Nick of the night. Guys,
yep,
a
yep,
couple
yep.
seasons ago, Elfrid Payton.
Phew,
Here's a throwback for you. Here's a throwback for you, chat. Shane Larkin.
man,
So
remember
we are,
Toure Murray?
ooh, ooh,
People,
yeah, we
I
can't we
mean,
can't we can't go too deep. We can't go too deep.
Tony
But
Roten.
oh my
We've
gosh,
done
Tony
this.
Roten.
We
But
we brought Jimmer Fredette in.
I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that. But we're not in the days of Jimmer Fredette anymore. We're not in the days of Tony Roten. We're not in the days of Alfred Payton. We're not in the days of Shane Larkin, hoping and praying for Shane Larkin to materialize into something. And
Yeah,
I think that New York, to quote Stephen A. Smith, New York, let's stand up. We have a real one here. And He was well
Yes,
worth every single penny thus far.
absolutely. And we got to vote, fam. We got to vote.
Yeah.
Let's. I'm going to drop the link in the description here because yeah, we got to get these guys in. Um, it'll just be great for everyone, great for the squad, um, and not so much that, but they're deserving. Like
Yeah.
Lily just hit on. Jalen Brunson he's getting to superstar level status right now. It's hard to disagree. To do what he's doing at his size, um, yes, Randle's a great player and RJ draws attention and all of that, but we could talk about this more. But imagine if you pair Brunson with two other legit superstars, like that's that's going to be tough. Like he'd be doing what Jamal Murray's doing if he was playing next to
Hmm.
Joker, for
Hmm.
example. Just for example, let's say he was in CP3's shoes with Phoenix,
Yeah.
playing with Booker, all of that. Yeah, I've got little to no doubt he could be a point guard for our next championship team.
I think he prior to I think this past week, I think his season from the national perspective was hurt because he plays in New York. And what I mean by that is the national media has historically, for the past 20 years, kind of looked at the Knicks organization as a joke. But when you start to put up the stats and the stat lines that he's put pretty much the entire season, you can't like I don't know if you guys have noticed, like, the national basketball broadcast, there aren't as many jokes about the Knicks anymore. You
Mm,
know, you don't hear well, it's just the Knicks. You don't hear that as much anymore, if at all.
yep.
And in part because that was so prominent, because that was such a lingering shadow, because of the antics of James Dolan, that raised a cloud over the Garden. That kind of overshadowed the play on the court. What Jalen Brunson's doing right now, it's now starting to get national attention.
Yep. And I love the names coming through, fam. Chat. Uh, we'll keep spitting it all night just to highlight where we're at and appreciate our guy, appreciate our all star, New York ties, New York City roots. Um, not that I'm just that wowed by his play, but his mentality. You just know
Absolutely.
when a player is like focused on the court, he's an assassin out there. He's stone faced, ladies
Oh
and
yeah.
gentlemen. Hardly shows any emotion. Made some great passes tonight as well. Um, yeah, Shane Larkin, uh, will get you right. Emmanuel Mudiay,
Oof.
um, Jarrett Jack. We brought him out of retirement just to run around for a cup of coffee. Um, but yeah, shout out our guys. Uh,
Yeah.
I want to get your thoughts on this. Buzzer Beater dropped a nice comment too about no
Mhm.
one that gets minutes currently should get traded. Um, tie that into your thoughts about some news with Emmanuel Quickley. That's looking like we might be locking him up.
Yeah, it's funny because we talked about that last week. It was when I was talking about like he's going to be a problem because he's now gotten to the point where if you're the front office, and this is literally the conversation that CT and I had last week. We said the play that he's played, particularly when RJ wasn't there, when RJ was unavailable, he pretty much forced the front office's hand. And if you go back to that podcast, we said even if the front office at that point had not considered IQ being part of their long term plans, he played his way into them having to make him be part of their long term plan.
Yep, facts, right? Um, we'll shout him out as well all throughout tonight. But we're playing faster, and Quickly's helping with that.
Hmm.
That you see the numbers down below. EJ in chat, fast break points. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, fast break points tonight. We won as well, which is key. That's good on the road. I think we struggled with some length tonight. You know, you guys, and we'll talk about what we can do to upgrade this squad, but I think a lot of the fan base understand length can at times we are short at the point guard and at the shooting guard spot, even at the small forward spot. I think with Kuzma, Adbida, Hachimura, Gafford there, EJ, we can struggle with some size.
We saw that in Milwaukee as well too. We see that with Milwaukee, like the couple of games that we played against Milwaukee. Once you have like a Lopez and a Giannis, whenever I think our players see length on the court, there's a slight hesitation to penetrate into the lane. And if you look at the offense, like the read react offense, there's a lack of movement, which then kind of confounds that problem of the fear of length or the issue of length, playing against length. So that is definitely a concern. But I will also say that Quickley, going back to Quickley for a second, when we were concerned about the fluidity of the offense, Quickley was one of the key engines in the third quarter to jumpstart the offense when it seemed as if there was the ability for it to stall. He just seems to have that those instincts to remember to continue to attack. Don't settle just for jump shots. And there was a play that he had, I think this was in the third quarter, where I was very proud of him, where he thought about taking a heat check three.
Oh.
And he was just like, no, I'm not gonna do this. And that's what you well, the reason why this season is a win is because you're seeing maturation, you're seeing growth, you're seeing development. And so yeah, am I concerned about like the length? Yes. I'm also still concerned about like certain players when we do play against them, they seem to have the nights of their life, the nights of their career, or they get close to it.
Yeah.
But I am glad tonight that we were able to do just enough to win this game.
Yeah, definitely. We're building winning habits, ladies and gents. Essentially, like we sometimes feel a little subdued, not saying down, but subdued after wins because and as EJ will jump back in a minute. But yeah, chat. What do you guys think? You know, we just expect to win now. You know, like Buzzer, I think said the other show. We're just expecting to pull out these wins because, and I think games are even going to get easier in the second part of the season. As I've been saying in many shows, a lot of teams are going to be sellers. They're going to go south. They're going to rest guys to tank. And I think the Knicks are just going to pull out even more of these laugh at kind of wins later in the season. You know, it's going to be a case where the Knicks are, you know, pushing tooth and nail for seeding, and other teams are going to go the other way. You know, what are you guys' thoughts on that? Especially if we make some upgrades with that. But yeah, otherwise in the house, salute. Let's go. Chat, yeah, keep spitting all the perilous point guards the New York Knicks have had to make do with. Talk about makeshift as well. We used to have, you know, shooting small forwards and shooting guards play point guard for the Knicks. Jalen Brunson, votes count 3 times tonight. Let's vote again. I'll do it before I go to sleep again and get this guy in, right? Starter, reserve. I think Jalen Brunson is on his way to being a first-time All-Star in his first-time free agent decision to come to the New York Knicks as well. Proud of him. EJ, we're just giving the flowers to JB. And it's a good little segue to my meeting this week with the legend, top 75, Dirk Nowitzki.
Oh, and,
yeah, they still miss him, you know. I mean, Cubans talking otherwise, but every other Dallas personnel we've heard from, he's very much missed. How can you replace a guy like Brunson if he leaves you?
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. This is this is what happens when you're podcasting.
Good. I'll hold you down.
That's what we do, teamwork. It was something that we kind of knew was going to happen. that Dallas, for some reason, and it's unclear why, they didn't really think about how are we going to replace Jalen Brunson's production, um, and to move to the Christian Wood signing. Christian Wood's a solid player, but
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson has shown. I mean, Jalen Brunson had already shown how good of a player he was playing next to Luca. Uh, the team that should have known that most is Dallas. Dallas should have known that most. Um,
Yeah.
but their lack of diligence in terms of making sure to proactively re-sign him, that's our benefit. That's to our benefit. I
Yeah.
sorry, Dallas.
And I think it was just a no-brainer for him. It was on the cards, whether it was legit tampering or no tampering. The homegrown aspect was something Brunson highlighted from the get-go, which
Hmm.
I think once Tibbs got the job, once, there was talk his father could be getting a job and wanting to just take on a bigger role. And that leads us to say, we wouldn't be seeing this kind of Brunson if he was playing next to Luka every game.
Yeah.
And yet, for Dallas' point of view, there's nothing wrong with that. You have to have the ball in Luka's hand. If Luka was on the Knicks, the ball would be in his hand. But it's just one of those situations where it's kind of like the old school Thunder when you had Harden, Russ, and KD. You could never get the most out of James Harden.
Yeah.
James Harden would never become the Houston Rockets. James Harden.
Yeah, that's part of part of the idea of fit is the issue. Like sometimes you can have too much talent, but it's not
Yeah.
talent that complements one another. Um, and then at the same time, sometimes talent is misused or underused or but I as I'm going through the chat and I'm going through some of the great comments. I was having tech issues before, so I couldn't see every chat. But I
Mm.
forget who said it. Buzzer beater. I have to give you a shout out for this. Shane Larkin. We would have been better off with Barry Larkin. That was a great comment. Um, but yeah, I think this is, even if we don't win a championship, which is most likely. I mean, we've hit on a couple of things that as Knicks fans we can walk away from the season and say, man, I feel good about that. I feel like there are building blocks here. So Jalen Brunson is a building block. Um, IQ sure feels like a building block to me. That some of us felt, okay, will he be our starting point guard last season? But now we're talking about like how can we get IQ even more minutes? So so shout out to JB. And one more thing really quickly too. Um, um, the other thing I love about Jalen Brunson too is you could conceivably argue this is his team. You could easily argue that he came in and it made it his team. That's amazing.
Yep, absolutely. And we're just getting a little bit of audio static. I think it's improving, but appreciate the chat for letting us know. I'm not sure
Let
if
me
there's
take care of
anything.
that.
What's that?
Let me take care of that.
Yeah. And yeah, like you said with Brunson, he's definitely playing so well off Randle. Yes, there's isolation plays, fam. Um, but I think we'll start to see less of that with RJ tonight. RJ Barrett can definitely take advantage of a lot of mismatches. He's going to be that third guy, third guy, the focal point. And I think it's going to be a situation where RJ's numbers are going to become more efficient, fam, because the focus on Brunson and Randle as we get down this stretch throughout the season, and the Knicks scouting report starts to focus on stopping, Brunson and Randle a lot more. RJ's going to start eating a lot more, in my opinion. He's really going to start eating. With that said, um, yeah, EJ just fixing up some of the things on his end. But salute to the chat. Appreciate everyone out here. Knicks Nation rocking with us tonight as the Knicks go 5 games over 500 taking care of the East. We'll look ahead. We'll give out some grades tonight, and we'll look at these Eastern Conference games that are going to continue to roll through. We predicted that the Knicks should win 3 out of the next 4, including tonight's, but we should really win 4 out of the 4, considering it's Detroit, considering it's Washington, and some of these other games that are a bit easier. Toronto, who we just beat in the 6, and I think the other team might be I think it's the Hawks. I think it might be the Hawks coming up very soon, but we'll look at that soon. But yeah, Randle's play, Allah's on point here. The dunk and then the block, right? That's another huge impact Jalen Brunson's also been able to bring to this franchise, because Randle definitely was frustrated last year, and I think a lot of it had to do with lack of help at times, feeling fatigued and then thinking he's got to carry the load. But with extra help now, you see Randle bringing that energy defensively on the offense, defense now. I mean, he's had more highlight plays on the defensive end than I can recall from like last season, with chase downs, with big time blocks, and controlling his measure as well. Yeah, with that said, Dirty also highlights RJ has improved 2-point shooting and his free throw percentage, right? Yep. It ain't his ceiling, definitely, right now. But yeah, playing off quality guys that have that winning pedigree. I had a thought last night as EJ just comes through.
Is that better?
Yep.
Okay.
Much better on my end.
All right. Thanks a lot for that, chat. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Crystal clear now. Give
Right.
us a thumbs up in the chat and the like button, chat, and let us know if it's all clear. But I was just saying, fam, when I was meeting Dirk, right, and I was looking at some tape of his incredible finals run, I noticed, when I was watching the footage, who should bob up in one of the videos? Jalen Brunson, dapping up Dirk. And I'm like, this guy got to play. Not only was he an NCAA champion, but he got to play with one of the all-time greats, 14-time All-Star, MVP, Finals MVP, and NBA champ. And on the flip side, Julius Randle, early in his career, got to play with the late, great Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, a champion, one of the all-time greats as well, and a champion, 5-time champion. And I'm thinking, man, Randle and Brunson played with 2 of the all-time greats. So they absorbed a lot from those guys. They took on what it is to be a pro. They learnt from them what it is to win in this league, what it takes. And I feel like we're seeing these guys enter their prime, not even yet. And you're seeing that they, in my opinion, I think they have what it takes to win, because the impact, what do you feel the impact would have been playing with those 2 all-time greats?
That's a really astute point, and I'm going to try my best to like that. Yeah, that really is a deep point, and I'm going to try my best to augment, to complement it. Not just playing with Dirk, not just playing with Kobe, but playing with them at a particular point in their careers. So playing with both of them at the tail end of their careers. So Julius got to play with Kobe when Kobe was no longer, dunk champion, Michael Jordan's kind of like, that kid on the Lakers over there who wants to take all the shots. He got to play with Kobe, who had blessed be this hilarious. He got to play with Kobe, who had developed a lot more maturity, who went from being the young kid to becoming more of the mentor. And likewise, Jalen Brunson got to play with Dirk after having won his championship. And so those little pearls that, like, for example, Kobe always talked about, if you saw the Jordan documentary, um, if you saw the Jordan documentary, one of the things that Kobe always talked about is don't compare me to Michael Jordan because a lot of what I am, I got from him and specifically from conversations with him.
Yeah.
Um, and in my professional life, I talk about this all the time. I believe in mentorship, that the way you become the best version of whatever profession you're in, and people who are extremely, extremely successful in their professions, they have mentors. They have people who've been through the battlefield and know exactly how to succeed. And that's true in sports. Like the best players always have someone they can point to and said, I spoke to that person and this is what they showed me. And I think one of the things that we're starting to see is that the people who've been most productive this season on the Knicks,
Mm.
you could kind of, connect it to their experiences with some of the greatest players in basketball. So, CT, that was a really amazing point, and I think that when we do the analysis and the kind of the microscopic analysis that we do every day, that point cannot be understated.
Yeah.
We can't let that be
Yeah.
understated.
I mean, yeah, growing up as a player, like who would want, can you think of better mentors to come into the league with and playing with NBA MVPs, champs,
Hmm.
guys that can carry the team and learn from them? And I think if anything, they've taken Brunson and Randle have taken work ethic from, Kobe and Dirk. They work meticulously on pre-game routines. And I heard Dirk talk about his approach to the game. It's funny that how linked they are. Dirk's, um, best opponent, most toughest opponent, he put Kobe.
Yeah.
And Kevin Garnett, fierce competitor. And
Mhm.
of course, yeah, just seeing that footage of watching Dirk and then Brunson in the lineups, dapping him up. I'm thinking like, man, yeah, Brunson. I'm not sure if he played one season with Dirk or two. Dirk's final year was 2019. Brunson was drafted 2018. So I think might have been one and a half seasons. But I think those two took on work ethic, and you see how hard Brunson works. You see how hard Randle works for all their skill shortcomings and some parts of their game. I feel like they're definitely taken the professionalism, the approach to the game of basketball, and I really think they're both hungry to be an NBA champion.
Yeah.
One day. You don't you don't really see a lot of off court stuff with either of those two. It's all business.
Um, you chat, just if you get a chance, just answer this question. Have any of you guys seen the Netflix special, The Redeem Team? Um, if you have not, and if you love basketball, please, you got to check out that special. That that documentary is amazing. Um, and the reason why I just brought it up, CT, is because I just thought about the role that Mike Krzyzewski said that he wanted Kobe to play. And there's a scene where Dwayne Wade talks about Kobe and how one day they all went out, like everyone on the Redeem team went out except for Kobe, and they're coming in. I think they were in Vegas. They're coming in. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. They're literally coming in from the club, and as they're entering the elevator to go back to their respective rooms, they actually see Kobe going down to the gym.
Uh,
And like LeBron talked about it, I think definitely Wade talked about it. And one of the comments that they made, which was really profound, was that
yeah,
the next day, Melo, no, it wasn't Melo. I think the next day, Dwayne Wade went down same time with Kobe because he was like, I'm not going to let this guy who's toward the tail end of his career outwork me. And it was really funny as a Knicks fan is that Melo was like, well, I worked out too. I just wasn't going to get there at 6 o'clock in the morning. But it just says a lot about like mentorship and having someone who's really successful and who could show you the blueprint to success and how that leaves an indelible mark and it becomes a legacy that gets passed from person to person to person. So, Kobe is one of those players whose legacy will probably never die in the history of this game. And it's kind of weird because he was never a New York Knick, but you do get the tail of it connected through Julius Randle, and we get it with Dirk via
Yeah.
vis-a-vis Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, and for Randall to win Most Improved, fam, you can only do that off work. I've witnessed very few players ascend so much as Julius Randle has. In terms of where he was before MIP to where he is right now, and that's every bit of Kobe there. It's work ethic, it's discipline, sacrifice, all of that. And then not only did he have a down year, he's shown the ability to bounce back
Yeah.
and become an even better player. Right now, yeah, he'll have some up and down games, but I think this version of Julius is better than the one 2 years ago. So he's still growing, still reaching his mental and physical prime. 28.
And the fact, like, there's something to be said about doing it and doing it in this particular season, and to do it when you have a quality player next to you. Um, this almost amplifies his improvement for this season.
Yep.
Because if Jalen Brunson were going to have the kind of season he's having, but then Julius's numbers were off by 6 or 7 points, then you can just say, okay, well, it's all Jalen Brunson. But you can see that there's an individual improvement that's taking place with regards to Julius himself. Like I mentioned this a couple of shows ago, his athleticism has seemed to bounce back this particular season. He's finishing certain plays with authority. Again,
Yep.
the Washington, D.C. police, the Metro Police are looking for him right now because of what he did on that dunk. That was criminal. I think that young man,
Savage.
that he was on the ground because he was just like, what just happened to
man.
me? Do I have to change my name? Do I have to change my identity? Are my parents going to still want to talk to me? Is my girlfriend going to want to talk to me because I just got embarrassed on national television?
I was ready for them to come chalk him out, chalk an outline, or Mortal Kombat, a soul.
Oh, finish him!
Come out of the body. With
Oh
that,
my
man.
gosh! Fatality.
One thing is that takes balls to stand right in front of Julius Randle, a freight train coming through. But we might not be seeing Randle in a dunk contest anytime soon. But if he gives a clear lane, get out the way. That's all. That's no professional advice, just advice, just life advice. Get out of the way.
There's medical advice as well too. It's it's also good for your insurance company. It's but that I mean, he wasn't going to finish like that last season. This season, especially as we've already surpassed the halfway mark. He has bounce. He seems to have way more energy. And here's the other thing too, and this is subtle, and I don't know how many people are going to discuss this. His confidence. There's a quiet confidence that seemed to have eluded him through much of last season that seems to be back. And it's a positive energy. It's that positive energy. There were several plays tonight where Julius did what he did, and he sat there and he's like, I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man. When he hit that three over Kuzma, and MSG replayed it several times, and he's like, that's an affirming, I believe in my talent right now, and that wasn't necessarily him last year. So that's great.
Yeah, you could tell that he's enjoying playing off of these teammates, Brunson as well. But yeah, something wasn't right with him last year. He lost Bullock, Reggie Payton wasn't there. It was just a down year. But I think Randall's 3-point shooting, if we rewind back to the 2 years ago, that's just what's opened up Randall's game. We have a legit stretch four now. people talking about us wanting a stretch five. That'd be nice at some point, off the bench or starting. But to have a legit stretch four now, where he can get to the cup anytime he wants, but he can also shoot the three ball at the level that he's shooting. I'm not sure what he's on for the season, but yeah, he had that awful start the other night. But for most part, you got to respect that, fam. You got to respect Julius's 3-point shot. Now you sag off and at your own peril, because Julius Randle can get hot in a second, and he doesn't need any hesitation. He fires up at will, man. Like J.R. Smith, 9 3-point attempts. I think it was that last game or two ago, where he was 0 for 9 in the first quarter. It was like an NBA record, but that didn't affect Randle. He was just shooting and shooting and shooting. As EJ bounces back just like Julius Randle.
Yeah, you know what it is. It's Buzzer Beater's gonna have a field day with this. Yeah, I think he definitely deserves, especially for all the criticism he got last year, including from myself as well too. He deserves credit for what he's had for what he's done this season, and I think that the same energy with which, I'll just speak for myself, the same energy with which, like, we had to criticize and I criticize and question, is the same energy with which I'll commend him and say, like, Julius deserves serious all-star consideration. He deserves serious accolades for, what he did during the offseason, because it's so apparent, it's so clear. And one of the things that we all wanted, and I specifically wanted for him, was for him to feel good as a player. And I definitely, before my Wi-Fi decides to conk out again, I definitely wanted to compliment him for just, a super solid effort this season. And again, I definitely think that Jalen Brunson being on the team has definitely helped him as well too, and alleviated some of the pressure, alleviated some of the things that may perhaps, and we won't know, maybe some of the things he did not want to do. Maybe he wanted to be a star on the team, but he didn't want to be the vocal leader. They're not necessarily one and the same. So
yeah,
I definitely compliment him for the transition from last season to this season.
Yeah. Even though dudes in the NBA still want to be a guy that helps teams win, they love help as well. Like, imagine if you're playing on a team where you're the guy carrying the load every night, and then all of a sudden you got help, and it's just like, man, you can rock out and beat anyone when you take the hardwood, and all you got to do is just play your natural game, and you can defeat anybody. It's a great feeling as not just a basketball, any sport. If you have trust, faith in your teammates, whether it just comes down to whether you hit shots or not, that's easy now. It's fundamentals. And before you jump out of here for tonight, give us your thoughts moving ahead now. 5 games over 500. We got a stretch coming up that I'll bring up now on the screen. And it's Detroit, Toronto, Washington, Atlanta, Toronto again.
Yeah. For me, the game that scares me the most is the game against Toronto. Toronto has a propensity for showing up at times and for making teams' lives difficult. And I also am somewhat concerned about the Martin Luther King game because sometimes the Knicks, historically, they tend to sleepwalk during afternoon matinees. Not that you can always say historically, like, you can blame historical trends and then lay it down at the feet of the current team. But it's been something, if you've been a Knicks fan for long enough, you do know that there tends to be, when the Knicks have to play at 1 o'clock or at noon, they're still sleeping, even though they're there at the Garden. Otherwise, this is an opportunity to really begin to be what you're going to be. So Atlanta, this could be an opportunity to put some distance between the Knicks and Atlanta. Getting a game, Detroit should be a game, really, we should be seizing on those games now. Like, if they're the bottom 3 team in the East, there's now no excuse. These are teams that, if it's Atlanta, If it's a Charlotte, okay, let's take care of business now. If it's Orlando, let's take care of business. But my biggest fear would definitely be Toronto and the MLK Day game.
Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, fam. I feel as good as I do on the road as I've ever felt. Now
Hmm.
it's these home wins. We got to take care of MSG, protect the garden.
Absolutely.
Yep, at all costs. And then yeah, it gets tougher. Like you see Boston, Brooklyn, and LA. They're all national games. So
Hmm.
um, yeah, the Knicks got food in front of them. They just got to eat
That's
now.
right. That's right.
That's Yep. Well said.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts before we
No.
link up again?
Absolutely. As always, Knicks Buzz family, please make sure to like, subscribe, smash that subscribe, help us with the algorithm. There's a lot of Knicks content on YouTube. There's a lot of Knicks content out there, but we try very hard to be not emotional. We try to be very logical. We try to have a good conversation with you guys. We're two friends who are having grounded, reasonable conversation. So help us out, help you out. Let's promote Knicks Buzz as much as possible. Follow me on Twitter, EJ_Blanchard. I definitely would like to interact with you guys, and I promise that next time the Wi-Fi will be working. CT, my friend, thank
Yeah.
you so much for always having me on.
As always. Yep. Let's get it on the next one, fam. Enjoy your weekend. TGIF.
Thanks. Take care.
Peace. EJ in the house. Always giving us some gems, some jewels, dropping knowledge. And yeah, feel good Friday. Let's continue the convo. Nick Streets and chat out here. Replay gang. Got lots to talk about from tonight still. Give out some grades. Let's get these all-stars voted in. Votes count 3 times tonight, fam. Three times. All the love and respect for Derrick Rose in the world, but the fact that he's top 10 based on no kind of play, but you got Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle sweat and blood and tears each and every night. We need to get these guys in over Derrick Rose, right? Like I said, all the love in the world for D Rose, but the guy ain't playing right now, right? The same way we shouldn't be playing. Let's vote these heroes through, and I'm gonna vote again before I hit the hay for tonight. But yeah, tonight the Knicks struggle with some length. Obviously, very undermanned Wizards team without Beal tonight. But I agree with the takes tonight with Quickly's change of pace, just that ability to come in and get the defense scrambling. IQ was amazing tonight. He was cutting that cut that he had. Always a live body. He just gets it out there, man. He's an energizer bunny. He wants to win bad as well. He makes great plays. The shooting keeps the defense honest, but also his dribble penetration is going to another level now. His IQ. I feel like he's tightened up his handles. He's tightened decision making, and he's just letting the game come to him. IQ. He's letting things come, and he's noticing, the extra pass that's there, and pick and roll with IQ now is deadly. So let's continue this streak, baby. Like Allah says, we blow out Detroit. We can beat Raps Monday. It's the back-to-back that's going to be tricky. With that said, the New York Knicks 5 games over now. Let's get it to 7, 8. I love to beat ATL as always. They got some turmoil up in the house happening there with Trey, DeJounte, Nate McMillan, looking like John Collins going to be out of there in a minute. There's a report today actually that they've dropped their asking price for John Collins. Who would have thought? And when the report came out that they were seeking a package like Rudy Gobert, almost fell out of my chair. With that, ain't no one paying that for John Collins. Could he help a contender? Yeah, he could. But no one's really given up anything substantial for me for John Collins. But for us, we got Atlanta's measure. I'm not sweating Atlanta at all, as the New York Knicks are retaining 6th seed 24-19. We have Philly at 5th, 25-16. So we're only 2 games back of Philly in the 5th seed, and I'm pretty sure we play Philly, maybe 1 or 2 more times. So the Pacers still on our tail with the Heat at 23-20 each, and in the 7 and 8 spot right now. But looking ahead, fam, the Knicks do need help off the bench. We're going to be in these fights, these battles throughout the rest of the 39 games remaining. And scoring wise, I'm looking at the clock. Every time Brunson and Randle's off the floor, I'm like, oh, when's he going to bring them back in? Because, IQ, it's a lot for IQ to handle. I like the fact that he can play RJ more minutes with the bench. Absolutely needs to do that more. Grimes needs to play more minutes with the bench. Also, probably stagnate Randle and Brunson each, I feel. Just like a lot of teams do with 2 stars. You've got to have one guy sit, one guy on the floor maybe at all times. Unless RJ's clicking, these tough games are going to be like that. It's going to be back and forth. But tonight, the Knicks dominated points in the paint. Ladies and gentlemen, you see down below, points in the paint was key tonight. And the fast break points was to the Knicks' favor, which was good. Getting up and down, we was getting our defense back set. Kuzma was going off, but if one guy goes off and that's not enough to beat you, then so be it. Kuzma's going to hit shots. Someone had to get up all their shots tonight, and it was Kuz. I think Mitch did an amazing job. Gafford didn't really have much of an impact. Did that, and again, the Knicks dominated in the paint with that. Some filthy blocks, filthy jams. We saw it all tonight. Julius didn't even have a hot shooting night as well, but we did go down 8. So we did have some work to do. Like I said to EJ, I think the Knicks tonight were in second, third gear most of the night, and we got out slow. Obviously, lost the first quarter, lost the second quarter, a big third quarter, a big run with Jalen Brunson, Randle trading buckets, and RJ making great plays. But tonight, that was the run that blew the game open with IQ as well. Grimes didn't really have it going with the shot tonight either. But again, his dribble drive penetration, the and one play was beautiful. We was getting a lot of and ones tonight with the New York Knicks. And that's what I want to see. Dribble drive, take it to the D, take it strong, right? Make them foul you. At times, I notice some players try to avoid contact at times, but you just got to get in there into the teeth of the D and make them call that foul, right? Even if you got to scream, fall to the hardwood, just make sure they call that foul. Couple great defensive plays too, getting in front of the guy, drawing some charges. That was key again. A lot of these guys have defensive savvy with Grimes and Brunson and Mitch, and that's why we're seeing the New York Knicks defense just kind of escalate, go to that next step, because it's not just stopping dribble penetration. It's the fact that these guys just can take charges. Secondary help with the blocks is key as well for the New York Knicks. So we're rolling right now, 2 straight now. That Bucks game hurt, against Giannis. I think, to be honest, the difference in that game was just Brook Lopez. I'm keeping it real. Giannis and Drew versus Brunson and Randle, it was down to the role players that night. And they had a guy like Brook Lopez, which is a luxury, can block, one of the best shot blockers in the league, and a guy who can absolutely stroke it as well. So he was clutch in that game, and I think he was basically the difference with that game. So the New York Knicks are just right there with that next tier of teams. So let's also talk about some moves coming up, fam. Some help. We need some extra length. We need some size. We need a guy who can defend and shoot, can play, make, dribble some as well. you guys keep throwing out some names. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what is going to help this New York Knicks team make that huge run right now. We got some horses right now, some legit guys right now playing out of their skin right now, and I'd love to get them a bit of help with this situation. Yes, Manchild says Kuz showcase and to everyone as well, Knicks and anyone who might pony up for him, fam. Yeah, he can fill it up. Kuz got size. He can be inconsistent shooting at times, but he can fill it up. Almighty's on the OG watch right now. Let's see. I do think he's traded. I do think Toronto is going to blow things up a little. Yeah, see what's out there, fam. Gary Trent's on the block for sure. With that said, yeah, an extra guy that can come off the bench and help us out, stroke it. Ideally, a guy with length and a decent defender as well. With that said, yeah, the bench scoring is still that issue. Obi's working his way in. I want RJ to get more reps with the bench, or you have Brunson or Randle on the court at all times, and I think that's going to help stymie some of these runs that the Knicks give up. You know, tonight we made it hard work again. You know, some decision making hurt the Knicks towards the end, but the Knicks big guns, all stars pulled it through tonight, and some guys stepped up with Quickley and RJ making some plays. Mitch, a defensive beast. Again, we own the paint. You know, tonight we bullied them. We did get some foul calls, which was good to see. A lot of and ones, and there you see Quentin Grimes. That was a big play. Big play. I love his confidence. You see, he keeps his dribble. How many dribbles is that? 4 or 5 dribbles. Quentin Grimes doesn't give up his dribble. Now you're seeing a guy who's growing in confidence. He's taking his game to that next level. You love to see that from Quentin Grimes. He's no longer, even if you ever thought he was, he's not a spot up 3-and-D shooter anymore. He's a shooting guard that can play make some, can put it on the deck. There you see great pick and roll action with JB, Hartenstein, and the and one play. We opened them up tonight. You know, Brunson's savviness, he just probes and probes into the teeth of the D. And there you see Quick taking it strong as well. His confidence is like on 1,000 right now as well. So super impressive with this. On the back of what Dirty's saying, don't make no deals with Messiah. I think we're seeing a different Knicks team, fam. We're still a little scared about these regimes past, but this regime different, I think, operating different, where it also helps when we're winning, fam. Winning cures all, and we have less desperation for this organization right now. The league knows what D Rose, Fournier, and Cam can do. So the good thing is we don't need to showcase any of these dudes. Let's see who's in bad need of help, and then we can see what's on offer for these guys, you know. But I don't think we're not coming from no desperation point of view. And with that, we have a lot of protected picks, you know, Detroit, Milwaukee, the Washington protected pick. You know, it's not going to kill us if we have to dangle one protected pick to bring in some help. You know, I wouldn't be against it. It just depends on who it is, you know. Would a guy like Malik Beasley, Gordon, a guy like Gary Trent coming off our bench, Terrence Ross, these guys coming off the bench wouldn't hurt us. I'm not saying I would give up a first for all of those guys, but I'm pretty sure Leon's going to find something, you know. He's going to make some moves with this situation, right? Tom Thibodeau, in essence, would be licking his lips right now because he's got the squad in a prime position to make that run, make a run at the playoffs with this situation, and all stars, you know, mounting their case. Yeah, Utah's going to be sellers, I feel too, fam. Definitely. They got out the gate hot, but it's time now for them to be realistic, fam. Vanderbilt, Beasley, Rudy Gay, a lot of these dudes are going to be out of there, I feel. There's talk everyone except Markkanen is available. He's on the block. The Knicks in the house salute. What's good? Yep, that's that rotation. Jericho Sims, although Hartenstein played decent tonight, I feel for Jericho. He was playing great, and he deserves to be in this rotation. No doubt about it. But the good thing is he's there. He's going to be ready when he's needed to come in, right? Yeah, B in the house. Randle posterizing. Gafford tonight. That's going to be all over Sports Center, ESPN, social media, all of that, man. That's just going to help his case. Rashad likes the look of Malik. Got to sign him up. Yep. The Knicks have been interested in him and been linked to Beasley for a minute. So watch that space, fam. I feel, because that's the kind of help that would be nice off this bench with Emmanuel and with Obi. Just another ball handler, playmaker, scorer that can light it up. Ideally, just the dude that was going to play Fournier's role, but to the bench now because Grimes is Grimes. Grimes is out here straight balling. So yeah, we're going to give out grades in a second. With that said, let's just bring us this all-star situation on the screen, because let's get these guys voted in, shall we? Let's get them in. Votes count 3 times tonight. I'll drop the link in the chat right now so we can get this thing popping for these all-stars. Yep. I'll drop that link there, fam. And the comments have locked up on the back end, but I'll fix that up. We'll keep this thing rolling up in there. Clarkson, buzzer. I don't think Clarkson would be available, but I could be wrong. Fam. I think probably anyone could be had at the right price, but it's going to take a lot. Jordan Clarkson, man, he's lighting it up. He's the quintessential 6 man right now, fam. And I think Clarkson's going to at least command a pick and some, a big pick and some. Yep. Allah says if we had the real Fournier and Cam instead of their shells, we would be straight right now. Yeah, it's funny with these dead roster spots. That's the key thing. Leon, get to work. The front office get to work. We're in prime position now at 24-19. Man, I would have signed up for this. Young players playing well, developing. And with that said, I'll pull up the box score, and I want to give out some grades too. We'll go through this, give out your grades with me, but I'll start actually with the bench tonight, because Emmanuel Quickley played 30 plus minutes, 32 minutes, 7 of 13, right? Was 3 of 4 from the line, and IQ had 4 rebounds, 2 assists. He was in the plus as well, doing big things. 18 points was Quickley. He changed the momentum. He helped change the momentum tonight. Give Randle and Brunson and RJ some support as well. But you got to love it when IQ's efficient. Damn, 7 of 13. 3 ball wasn't falling, but he got to the line a little. Got the and 1 play. That was huge. Rebounds really well for a guard. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 18 points tonight. IQ in his 32 minutes stand up. Yeah, for me, he gets a B plus. Big time performance from IQ tonight. B plus. Sign him up. He's important to this future movement for this club. Drafted, homegrown, savvy now, 2-way guy. He's shown real improvement this season right before our very eyes, says IQ. He's doing big things, and he's got great work ethic. He's tough too. That's an underrated part of Quick's game. He's tough. Damn, he can He can get it going at any time. He gets gritty. He just loves the game. You could see it, and he's making a huge impact on this team. So I would extend IQ, at a decent number, and I would definitely be getting these conversations started. Right, the more he continues to ball out, the more that price is going up right now for IQ. So shouts out to Quick for tonight's game. Again, he changes the momentum of many games, but tonight was very profound watching it. And also he gives that break for Brunson and Randle and RJ in terms of them not having to make all the plays, not having to hold the ball all the time. Quickly's ball handling is definitely getting better and better and better as well. The Knicks got IQ and A. I can't kind of disagree with that at all. Yep, you could definitely give IQ and A for tonight. Yep. Salute to the whole chat out here rocking out, man. Friday night, Knicks pick up a big win on the road. It was a pro Knicks crowd in DC there to see Julius Randle hammer and see the Knicks pull out their second straight dub. Now we're moving through this schedule now, and we're talking about some upgrades that you think this team can make, to help these wins come a little easier. Ideally, I'd like to get Brunson and Randle some more rest as well. With Brunson, another 40-minute piece, tonight. Randle 36 minutes. That was okay. So tonight wasn't too bad. Hartenstein got 19 minutes in, and Toppin got 12. So, and with Quickley's 30 plus, that's what I've been screaming for Quick to play 30 plus, because you can't run Brunson into the ground right now. So IQ was key tonight. And with that said, we'll pivot to the next guy, Juju Randle, for tonight. In his 36 minutes, he was 8 of 19, but 2 of 6 from 3, but 5 of 8 from the line. But again, rebounding, absolutely killing it, owning the glass is Juju. 16 boards and 3 offensive, 1 assist, plus 12. That was key. 23 points. So got to give Randle an A for tonight. Again, handled his business. Hit a huge step back 3 on Kuz. Killing the glass, like I said. Free throws, could have hit a couple more. That was frustrating. And the 3 ball wasn't dropping for Julius tonight, but still a plus 12, a key block, making defensive hustle play after hustle play. Julius leaving it all out there as well. So he's on his way to becoming an all-star, voted in by probably most likely by the coaches. With that said, I'll be disappointed, but there's still a bit of work to be done. Let's get this voting happening. But Julius Randle's on track to be a 2-time all-star right now. If you consider tonight was one of the more subdued nights, nothing too crazy, but he just does his thing out there as well. He's this engine that helps this thing move along. Definitely upgrading the bench, like E says, should be our priority. Agree. Dirty says Randle and RJ both got cooked by Kuz. Have to dock them both a little for that. You got Randle a B minus and look, Kuz definitely got off. I think length, like I highlighted earlier, fam. I think the Knicks definitely struggle with some length. Kuzma's no joke. He's definitely going to earn that 20 plus mil contract, right? No doubts about that, man. Someone's going to pay Kuzma for what he's doing, but also you got to be careful. Like tonight's a kind of trap game for a team paying Kuzma, because he had the license tonight, license to do what he wanted. Put up all the shots, and play with guys that aren't normally in their roles. So with that said, his length can definitely help him. If he can become a more consistent shooter, then Kuz can definitely become a great piece for a winning team. But as for the Knicks, it's a little too pricey for me right now. I think we continue the way we're going. We get some bench help, we get this thing upgraded, and we continue to rock for this season, and we make some additions in the summer. Yeah. So yeah, with that said, Mitchell Robinson's game in 28 minutes tonight, he was 2 of 4 and missed 2 free throws, but 5 offensive boards, 10 total, 3 huge blocks, highlight blocks as well, protecting that paint. Mitchell Robinson holding it down, but he was -7 and 4 points tonight with fouling out, 6 personal fouls. A couple of them were cheap, but you know, can't hate on any part of Mitch's game tonight because 28 minutes he held us down, patrolled the paint. Those 3 blocks were key to getting some big stops there, deterring a lot of dribble penetration. Man, guys got to dribble in, then they get spooked, then they got to dribble it back out when they see Mitch. So yeah, his impact on this team is just huge right now. You notice it from Hartenstein, the drop off. With that said, if he gives us all 6 fouls, then that's a throwback right there. It didn't really hurt us because he still got 28 minutes in, fouling out towards the end. So yeah, I'll give Mitch a B. Mitch a B for tonight. Now, the point guard, the dude right now that's come in and is running this offense, getting what he likes. He's eating, beasting and feasting, does what he likes out there, man. There's no spot on the floor where JB can't, operate, right? It's impressive. He can operate from anywhere with all his moves, the arsenal he brings right now. It's dangerous. Like I said, man, these guys got to feel so good playing with a point guard that can also get his at any point, right? Efficient again. What else is new? 40 minutes, 12 of 24 and 3 of 6 from 3, 100%, 7 of 7 from the line, 8 rebounds for a small guard, 8 assists, a steal, block, just 1 turnover, a whopping team high plus 19 with 34 big buckets. Ladies and gentlemen, there can only be one grade for this performance tonight, and that's an A for Jalen Brunson, because he does it all right there, man. Hitting all his free throws and 50% from 3, over 50% from the field in 40 minutes. My only worry about Brunson is something that's not related to X's and O's, and that's minutes. I know it's still kind of early in the season, but let's get JB some help. Let's get him some minutes, as some rest as well, fam. Like I said early in the show, when Randle and Brunson are on the bench and the leads usually dwindle, I'm always starting to look at the clock. I'm like, when do you bring him back? Because Brunson coming in, we're just a run away from breaking the game wide open. You know what I mean? So, yeah. With that said, it's just huge, very well deserving of an all-star berth is JB. Let's get him in. Like I said, I had the privilege of talking to Dirk Nowitzki this week down here doing a camp, doing some events, and also, Dirk says, like a lot of people from Dallas, and no one can hide from the fact that they really miss JB right there, man. Winning pedigree, and he did it all for Dallas. Luka needs help now, and it's their problem. We solved our point guard problem now. It's beautiful to see each and every night now. The best free agent signing in memory for me, and the best point guard since Mark Jackson or whoever you want to argue with, whether it's Marbury, but Brunson's obviously going to surpass that. If he's here throughout this contract, which he should be. He's that point guard that can be our starting point guard on the next championship team. If all shakes right and we get some pieces around these guys, and Jalen Brunson can orchestrate, operate, devastate, and in the playoffs, he's just going to go to a next level. Basically, we've seen it in Dallas. We've seen it in the Western Conference. Man, he's just a straight beast right now for his size. Yeah, always doubted, but right now he's shutting people up. Right now is Brunson again, another A. Now Barrett tonight, some really pleasing things from Barrett. 32 minutes, 7 of 13, 1 of 3, 2 of 4 from the line, but 5 rebounds and assist, -8, 17 points. So RJ Barrett efficient tonight and took advantage of some mismatches, taking it to the cup. His finishing seems to be improving, finishing around the bucket, finishing through contact as well. So if Barrett can continue to chip in with 20 plus points, 15 to 20 points on efficiency, this team's going to continue to win. Definitely going to continue to win. 1 assist. I'd like to see him get some of those assists up. But 13 shots wasn't a lot of shots for Barrett tonight. And I think easing in, he's going to get more minutes with the bench unit, and he's probably going to get more shots. Yeah, so look forward to seeing Barrett continue to work his way back into this lineup. We missed him. It's great to have him back now. This starting five's clicking, fam, ladies and gents. Yep, we riding on this starting five right now. Obviously, Grimes is coming through and Mitch is big. We're about to give them their grades. But the Knicks wants to give Barrett a B+ because Kuz outplayed him. Yeah, for me tonight, I'll give Barrett a B. Yeah, solid D. With that situation, like I said, I would like to get the assists up, but the efficiency was there. He had some missed defensive assignments or blow-bys, which was frustrating. He was a -8, but at least he was efficient. Efficient scoring tonight, which is good for only his second, third game back, I think. So, yeah, Barrett's working his way back in. Now we'll give out the grade to iHeart and the rest of the bench. But before we do that, we still got Grimes and Mitch up in here, ladies and gents. So Quentin Grimes, 33 minutes. He was 2 of 10. Struggled with the shot. 1 of 7 from 3. 3 out of 3 from the line. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, 1 turnover. Was a +12, 8 points tonight. So Grimes made some nice plays. Dribble penetration. I like the 2 assists. Again, he keeps his dribble alive. Like I said, doesn't get frustrated. He doesn't get moved often as Grimes. He knows where to get to. But tonight, the shot just wasn't falling for him, which is, it's going to happen tonight. I think he rushes his shot quite a bit. He's got very, very quick release. Part of me at times feels like Quentin can afford to just take a quick second, half a second to spot up. But what are your thoughts on that? That's just what it comes across on screen. The second he catches it, he's already half rising up. With that said, he's got that trait H2O in his veins. But yeah, defensively, what else can you say about Grimes? On a night where he's not efficient, he's still +12 and helping us out defensively. The amount of times I saw him shut off dribble penetration tonight was huge. Clamping dudes up, staying in front of his man. Great basketball IQ. Knows where to be on the floor as well. Spaces it out. And Quentin Grimes is that other guy that's going to, eat as we get along throughout the season with these other guys putting in work. Quentin Grimes is going to continue to get open shots. He's going to continue to be able to get into the teeth of the defense, fam, and open things up because of Randle and Brunson and RJ's work as well. So we're looking at a starting five that's among the most efficient, 5-man units in the league right now. and it's beautiful to see. Defensively, offensively, let's keep this thing rolling. I wouldn't touch anything with the starting five right now. That's me. We've got to keep this thing on lock, see how far it gets us, man. Because these guys are developing right now, developing with every game. Lives in the house, salute. Love the minutes distribution. Yep, great point that I also brought up too, because I think because of Quickley's extended minutes, Hartenstein playing extended minutes, Toppin getting into double digits, some of these guys had a little bit more rest. Tonight. Mitch 28, Barrett 32, Grimes 33. So that's good. Everyone except Brunson, I want to get him below 40. Damn. But at 26 years old, he's a workhorse. It's early in the season still. But I just, we need to get him some help, some bench scoring, so that we don't have to keep bringing Brunson in, fam. Keep bringing him in soon, right? Anytime the other team makes a run, we're like, we need to get JB, back in. So yeah, let's keep it rolling. With that said, Mitch, I think we gave Mitch's grade out tonight. We gave Quickley a grade. Miles McBride could have got his minutes up, but he was minus 15. His lack of size was telling tonight. Was Deuce. He was getting outmatched by DeLon Wright, getting a couple of plays where he was bullied as well. So we're seeing some deficiencies from McBride with that size. That's basically it. Offensively, we know his struggles at times, but I think at times Deuce is going to get played off the floor a little if he's got a larger opponent, because at 6'2", 6'1", 6'2", I think max. If he's on a guard like 6'5", 6'6" guard, he can get outmatched at times. And if he's not hitting shots, that was the tale for Deuce tonight, in his 8 minutes tonight. But Hartenstein in 19 minutes was 50% from the field, hit his free throws, got 4 offensive rebounds, a couple of tips, still struggled with a few missed buckets around the rim, which is his deficiencies. But he was plus 12, 8 points, one of his better games. Again, they don't have a whole heap of size, with Porzingis playing out on the perimeter. But Hart was okay tonight. I still want Sims taking all of his minutes, but I don't think Hart was killing us tonight. He was plus 12, 8 points as well. So I'll give him a B minus. I'll give him a C plus, B minus for Hart tonight. And Obi's 12 minutes. You can't really do a whole lot in 12 minutes in terms of getting into rhythm. Minus, he was 0 of 2 from his 2 3 balls. The 3 ball is up and down for Obe right now. Minus 8, 0 points. So he was pulled. On a night like this, I would have loved to see Obi play a little more with that bench unit, but he's only just come back quite recently as well. So we're probably going to see still some inconsistencies from Obi, moving ahead. With that said, we'll look at this road ahead, Nick Streets, and I'll pull it up on screen now. We're giving out our grades. We've rocked out, chopping up this road win. The Knicks 2 in a row now, 5 games over. In Seoul, 6 seed. We got this situation now where the Knicks are rolling throughout the East, right? We got food in front of us. Let's eat. Detroit, in Detroit. So don't really matter, in my opinion, where that's going to be. But the Knicks have to win that one. Then Toronto is going to come into MSG, looking for some revenge. They're reeling still right now. Got Gary Trent, talks on the block. We got a lot of trade news and some dysfunction happening in Toronto. They're definitely underachieving right now at 19-23 in 11th, right? Out of the play-in. So Masai Ujiri doesn't really have a lot of patience, for teams outside of the play-in. He knows which direction that franchise needs to go, and that's south right there. That's the smart thing to do. Sell off OG, sell off Trent, see what you can get. With that said, I don't think the Toronto Raptors are going to get anywhere this season, because ahead of them they've got the Bulls, the Hawks, the Heat, Pacers. I mean, even if they wanted to make 10th, I can't really see them being attracted to that. So that them and the Pacers are still definitely going to be sellers, I feel. I'm still watching out for the Pacers at 23 and 20, because Miles Turner, the situation's there. If they can't extend or come to some agreement with Turner, I think the Pacers would be wise to trade him and not lose him for nothing. Bam. So, and they're definitely overachieving early. Yeah, they're definitely overachieving. So, I feel like a lot of these wins are going to come more seamless later in the year, because some of these teams will blow it up. They'll be on the tank watch, you know, uh, resting dudes, for soreness, or the flu game's gonna pop up. A lot of that stuff, man. All that wackiness for Wembanyama is gonna start coming up, man. A lot of these teams in the chase. You got the Hornets, Pistons, Magic, Wizards, Raptors, Bulls. Any of these teams could still get in the top 7 lottery odds, which gives you a great chance. But for the Knicks, we're looking up right now. Philly at 25 and 16, the Knicks are just 2 games back of Philly right now. So we keep that in mind with this streak, ladies and gents. Detroit, Toronto, Washington, Atlanta. Let's win no less than 3. No less than 3 out of these. We got to take them, fam. I agree with EJ. The Toronto one's going to be tough, because we know what it is when you're just beating a team recently. They want to get at you. They want to go straight at you, get some revenge. But let's see. This one is at MSG, so we should feel good about our chances. We beat them in this 6, and now we got some home cooking as well. Let's get on another streak right now. So, what are your thoughts on that? Is the Ras in the house? Salute. What I'm going to do is just have a 30-second intermission. I'm going to refresh this baby and get the comments coming up on screen. So just keep it buzzing. And back like I didn't leave. So let's go. As I'm waiting for this thing to refresh. Yeah, the New York Knicks do need some bench help. Keep throwing out some names out here. But basically we're good with the starting unit right now. Quickley playing like a starter. Quentin Grimes playing like he's been a starter already. RJ working his way back in. Mitch holding things down. Right? It's just the Knicks got to find ways to win these tough ones. Execute better. Give these guys more rest. We saw a bit more pick and roll tonight, which was good. Brunson split the D. We're still seeing new things from Brunson. Each night he's navigating different defenses. Tonight they blitzed him a little, and he came through with flying colors. Did JB, right? He was splitting the defense, finding guys, and like I said, basically tonight we were just in third gear. The Knicks didn't even leave third gear tonight. You look at Grimes and a lot of the guys didn't even shoot efficiently. And on the flip side, they had some length. They got some length with their guys, but the New York Knicks just handled it as well. Considering losing the first and second quarter, the Knicks came through in the third with flying colors, 30-23, to open it up. That big stretch, that run as well. It was a big spark with dudes hitting highlight plays, dunks, quickly getting and ones as well. It was beautiful to see, and the crowd in DC go crazy right there. They were treated to tonight. Detroit, let's try to put that one away early. But yeah, some defensive lapses tonight hurt. Giving up 32 again in that fourth quarter wasn't great. Again, kind of failing to close out the game earlier. I think fouling them, a lot of silly plays, fouling the 3-point shooter, and Mitch also, staying in the way, not just giving up a layup to Kuzma. We've got to make smarter decisions, executing these wins. We do all the hard work, but then we just make silly, boneheaded decisions, and give it up right now. So that's frustrating. With that play with Mitch, I'm like, we're already going to win the game. Just get out of the way. Less than a minute left, right? Don't even get in the point where you got to foul the guy. Give up 2 points, right? Give up 2 points and get the ball back. The other one, the 3-point play as well. Why Julius? Why are you even touching the guy when he's shooting the three? Right? Again, we were up, and it was a situation where we just made it more difficult on ourselves, and we need to get better at that, because that's what's going to stop us from from beating all these difficult teams, and stop these collapses from happening. So yeah, a lot of abilities, but IQ wise, some of these players they're not the sharpest at times. But again, I think it's still a reflection of the coach. The crazy intensity that Tom Thibodeau shouts at keeps dudes on edge, I think, all the time. Well, the team's very much a reflection of Tibbs. It's helter-skelter, right? Jekyll and Hyde. With that said, things have fallen right for the New York Knicks this season. 5 games over, we've caught some breaks for sure, man. Some teams missing guys. Bradley Beal's out. He might still be out when we play the Wiz, in 3 more games. But yeah, a lot of these teams have had some players out. The New York Knicks, done what they needed to do, capitalized, and taken the dub. Damn road warriors on this season. Let's get this home record right. Now, we need to get this home record right, and that's going to be huge, because you can't just rely on winning on the road, all the time. Yeah. With that said, what are you guys keen to see on the trade period? For me, Quickley's out of bounds. Quickley's proven now he's a keeper, 100% up in this thing. Is a keeper. I start negotiations with him if we haven't already. Clarkson would be huge, but I think asking price, damn, a little too much. Guys like the Malik Beasleys, Terrence Ross, guys like Gordon, if they could be had for the cheap, they can fit. Maybe some guy with extra length, a guy who can defend a bit. Haven't been that pleased with Duarte this season. Haven't been that pleased with Gordon either. He's he's lost it a bit. So, I wouldn't give up more than a second rounder for Eric Gordon, really. If it's Cam or Fournier and a second rounder for Eric Gordon, it's not a move that we need to help the other team out a lot. We just need to keep some of these assets for bigger deals, Right now, Jericho Sims, I think, is fully deserving. He needs to be getting those backup minutes. His grittiness, toughness on the rebounding is gonna be key for this team. But they're going to continue to play Hartenstein, it appears. So that's tough. The salary, the contract of Hartenstein, 2 years. It's not one where it's like it's a part of the future of the New York Knicks. We need to prioritize Jericho. With that said, let's see what happens. Hartenstein might have a few bad games in a row. Maybe Tibbs is open to changing up the minutes. But for now, I just don't see it happening unless Hartenstein struggles for a longer period. But the bench-wise, Deuce McBride, like we know, is up and down offensively. He's a guy who's going to be cold on some nights, but his defense is going to be what is helping us. But tonight, he was getting abused with a lack of size, I think. Kuz's deal, if 2025 in the next big cap deal is not a huge amount. I just feel like the Knicks have got bigger plans. They're going to go big game hunting. Because if you look at it with Randle, with Brunson and RJ, there's a situation where we're only going to have a certain amount of money available to add that fourth guy, and that guy really needs to be, that guy that's going to be a great lock with this unit, and ideally get us to contention. Still look out for the free agency in 1.5 years' time with Spider, and also some other dudes that might become disgruntled. It's hard to predict right now, but every 1, 2, 3 years, every single year a dude becomes, more than one becomes disgruntled. So I think the Knicks might keep that up their sleeve, to think about before committing any money, to Kuz. Because do I think he puts us over the top? I don't think so. I don't think that's the case, right? I'm just banking on RJ taking incremental leaps, every year, and that's what's going to get us more improvement from within, more dubs, because Randle and Brunson's play, that's solidified right now. That's solidified, and they're all stars. That's holding us down, right? So RJ's growth is big for the coming years. Grimes's growth as well. But let's hit a home run with the next guy that we add. With that said, let's look at after this easier stretch. Then it's Toronto for the second time, Cleveland, Boston, Brooklyn, and the Lakers. The last 3 national televised games. So that's going to be great. That's going to be a huge test for this team to see where we're at. It's about time we start pulling out some of these tough wins against tougher opponents. We keep beating up on who we need to beat up on. That's cool, but like those games are going to be key for the New York Knicks to continue to get above 500 further. Out of them, I could say splitting them would be ideal. Cleveland, Boston, Brooklyn, and LA. If we pull out 2 of 4, can't be mad at that, because ideally we run through the next 5 and we win 3 or 4 out of the next 5, and we're sitting at like 8-9 games over 500. That's where you want to be, and then we just start to play tough against these good teams, but split them, and then things will open up again for us. Be a salute to tonight's highlight plays. Randle, what a dunk. Mitchell Robinson, swatting it into the stands, letting them know, right? We're getting some grittiness back in this New York Knicks team, right? Some 90s toughness up in here, some savageness here as well for the opponents, right? These guys got to start fearing the New York Knicks, and we're rolling right now. We're a handful, for teams, because it's a situation where our defense and our offense is legit, ladies and gentlemen. The other team scouting reports, on this team have got a lot to focus on, a lot of headaches. Like we saw tonight, you could trap or blitz Brunson, but what's that going to do? That's going to leave Randle and Grimes and RJ open as well. So we got to start getting used to seeing more of these different looks. And I think Brunson has been beating the trap really well, recently. Randle's been making better decisions too, with shot selection, a little more hesitation before he pulls up. But yeah, Grimes, again, he needs to be a bit more patient rising up before he takes the shot. Sometimes he's wide open and he shoots it very fast. But with that said, yeah, his shooting and RJ shooting is going to be big swing skills for this team, moving ahead. Because ideally, you can bank on Randle giving you 30 a night, Brunson giving you 30 a night. It's the bench and the swing game to game between RJ and Grimes, and their efficiency. But yeah, our ability to get stops down the stretch is also really key. Brunson's defense as well, I want to give him a shout out, because that was a situation where, coming into this season, a lot of people were like, liability. But tonight he was staying in front of his guy, getting charges, and just plays super tough. Does Brunson, right? Salute Ronnie St. Fleur in the house. What's good? Ronnie says, did you know CBS has rated the Knicks the 7th best team in the league right now? Streets are really buzzing, my friend. Let's go. Right. Appreciate that, Ronnie. Ronnie. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but that's a great thing. CBS showing love, I remember them giving Quickley a D-, D+. So that's what's up. Almighty's on the OG watch still. Do you think this current team, alone with OG, is going to get us to the next step? Do you think that's going to be a move that's going to push us above into the next tier of these squads, Fab, between Cleveland, Atlanta, Celtics, Brooklyn, and Philly, and the Bucks? Yep, you do. Yep, I'm assuming it's based off the defense. The defense he's going to add. Would you push him into the starting unit and push Grimes then into the bench as well? Also, we're the 3rd best road team in the league right now. Salute to that, man. Salute. Shout out to that. That's beautiful. 13-8. But what we give on the road, we give back at home, which is crazy, fam. Yeah, OG starting would definitely give this team a huge boost, take this team to another level, but close enough to the other teams, I'm not sure yet. He's not having the greatest year so far. You got Grimes' growth that you're hoping for, to see him take that next step. But I wouldn't be surprised if Leon pulled off a bigger move, because like I've been keep preaching, I think with Tom Thibodeau, this front office, they've chosen their direction. They've chosen their path. Damn. It's great that we are seeing young players get shine and develop and get minutes. And I think that they've got to be feeling good about that. But they also might be feeling a little bit, a lot of temptation to make another, win now move, another all in / win now right now, while the iron might be hot right now as things open up. Ladies and gents, the New York Knicks are just 2 games back of Philly, right? Let that sink in. And 3 games back of Cleveland in the 4th seed. So let's go back and look at those losses for, the awful capitulations against Dallas. The first Dallas one I'm talking about, MSG, the Thunder game when we gave up 145, and then the 3 recent bad losses between Chicago and Dallas, in Dallas, of course, and Toronto, the first one. The New York Knicks would be over the Philly 76ers and over Cleveland right now if they won those games, right? That's crazy to think, right? It'd be 4th seed all over again right now. So yeah, we ain't that far away. Having said that at all, really. So yeah, some people want to make that win now move right now. I can't hate on it at all because yeah, this team is surprising a lot of people. It's got to be the right move. It's got to be the right guy, right position, right? Defensively, we'd be a savage with OG, Mitch, RJ out there, Randle and Brunson, Grimes off the bench together with IQ. I just don't know what we're giving up. What are we giving up for OG? I put RJ back at the 2. Yeah, we get extra length. We get a little bit more, size with that unit. It's just going to come down to what do we need to give up. Yeah, I feel you on the first round exit. With that though, we can't be too short-sighted because this ain't the year we're going to win, right? We do need to take some growing pains. That's important too. If we do make the playoffs, Grimes and RJ and everyone's going to get more experience. And we talked about that, which is a good segue into it's a good segue into talking about this guy, Mr. Dirk Nowitzki. How many heartbreaks, losses, first round exits did he have before he finally got the squad to get over the top, and beat the Heat in 11-12? And that was a crazy run. But my example to that is you've got to take some losses in the playoffs at times to get to that next step. The 2, right? It hurts, it's painful. But first, second round, third round exits do fuel players to go to that next step, and climb the mountain. With that said, there's a lot you can learn from in the playoffs. Yes, we probably would get exposed in some areas of the game. We've seen what happens when they try to take the ball out of Randle and Brunson's hand. Other guys got to step up. They'll find themselves in the playoffs where they've got to step up, or we will lose the ball game. Free throws is an issue for this team. I can only imagine what it's going to be like, down the stretch of a deep playoff game where the New York Knicks are sent to the line, and got to hit all their free throws. So that's an area where this team needs to find out exactly what it can do, what it's made of. But what are we made of? We've got toughness mentally now. I think this team is made up of players that are feeling more confident. They're gelling. They're knowing each other's games now. Randle, Brunson are playing really well off each other, and RJ and Grimes are fitting in well. Yes, there's a bit of back and forth. You go, I go. You go, I go kind of thing. I think that's going to continue to be the case because Tibbs ain't a good offensive coach. We all know this. He doesn't call a lot of plays. He's not nuanced in terms of, the offense. But as long as these guys continue to make the right reads, they get smarter, seeing different looks from the D. it's gonna become second nature. You know, when you experience different looks, you can react faster when you see it the second time, the third time, you know, etc. Inbounding the ball is another issue for this team, right? Sometimes I see three dudes just standing there with their hands out saying, pass me the ball, right? And there's a guy right on them. You know, we need more cutting, more movement, you know, screening for some dudes as well. Some picks, get some guys open, right? Everyone's kind of stagnant. Even tonight, there was one point where he barely got the ball in bounds, right? The very last second, Quickley was able to get free. But man, that was tricky. That was tough. So, yeah, Terrence Ross is a name I can get with. But yeah, trading for OG, it's going to cost definitely an IQ, either IQ or OB, and a pick. Yeah, Messiah's no joke, fam. He knows how to negotiate with that. But let's see how much input Tom Thibodeau has, because yeah, he loves OG as well. He loves those type of players as well. So it's crazy to think. But Leon Rose, I'm definitely expecting a move, fam, as well. I'll be surprised if there ain't a serious move as well. I'm not just talking Cam for a second rounder and, you know, Fournier for cap space. They'll definitely try to upgrade this team and bring in a solid piece off the bench. Yeah, like I mentioned, we do have those first round picks, the protected ones. You know, Milwaukee, Detroit's one, Washington's one in the future as well. So I'm expecting either like a sizable move, not a minor move. No, I'm expecting something solid. Yeah, I'm expecting something solid because yeah, this team can get on a run. With the way we're going, two guys make the All-Star team, and we get 8-9 games over 500. That's legit. That's a team where you should be aiming or expecting to get to the second round, the third round. And you know, but it's going to be popping at the trade deadline, dude. There's going to be a lot of dudes selling pieces off as well. Does Leon value all these protected first round picks? Let's see. But yeah, I keep looking at these standings, man. 2 games back of Philly, 3 games back of Cleveland right now, right? The team shouldn't be looking below. You know, we keep winning. You know, the Pacers and the Heat will be there, but we should be looking up. We should be looking up right now, especially with this streak coming in, man. 5 teams that we should beat the brakes off again. We just need that bench help as well. We could get guys more rest. Brunson doesn't have to play 40, you know. Even if you want to play RJ more minutes, get him some on-ball looks, you know, when Brunson or Randle's on the bench, you know. A lot of teams going to be sellers, fam. Exactly, right? East wide open. Yep. Tom Thibodeau, we all know his ammo. Damn, he's not getting any younger. With this, yeah, I feel like they're going to make a push. Maybe multiple moves, you know, maybe multiple moves. With that said, I could expect Cam out of here. Fournier, maybe, if they could find a bigger package. Maybe the Lakers, he could fit. Rose can't be happy. Rose can't be happy playing DNPs. Derrick Rose, you know. So he doesn't want to waste the twilight years, you know, of his career not playing, DNPing. So that's going to be key. Look out for that. Teams like Milwaukee, teams battle tested in the trenches, would love a D Rose, you know, in the playoffs. You know, can come in, help the team with his experience, veteran mentor guys, all of that good stuff. So I could expect those 3 to be out of here. Obi, is a tough one. Obi Toppin's going to be a situation where the front office has got to make a decision. They've got to make the decision real quick, because again, 12 minutes a night, 15 minutes, 9 minutes, it's just not fitting. It's not fitting right now with this situation. I'd love Obi to get more opportunities here, but it looks like it's going to be tough. Looks like it's going to be real tough with Obi, with him getting right. Yeah, I'm more leaning towards it could be 50-50. I've never been at that point where it could be 50 Obi's out of here, 50% he stays. This season, but maybe even in the summer, I would put the odds at 60-40. He's moved by the summer. Again, he's an asset. He's a player that needs minutes, needs growth, needs development, and he can't get that here right now with Randle playing 39 minutes right now, man. C-Dub in the house, salute. Yep, Kyle Kuzma. It's tough, fam. He would help us right now. No lies. But the salary, what you would expect for next year, the extension, is he the piece that you want to spend all your last remaining cap on? It's going to be interesting. But he does fit a need. Yeah, he does fit that need, man. Yeah, definitely, fam. Yeah, the Halliburton thing's tough to think about. Wasn't mad with the Obi pick at the time. I loved his game. It just, Randle happened. We didn't expect this. But if Randle's an all-star, I'll take it. Juju becomes that all-star, you got to take it. We just got to find the right pieces that fit with all these dudes now. Length, shooting, 3-and-D, with some extra size, ball handling, playmaking, shot making as well. It also may depend, fam, on how much they believe in RJ Barrett's next step, his development as well. Because you have full faith in RJ and development to go to that next level, then you don't entertain that Kuzma move. If you're Leon, because I think they really believe in Grimes still. I don't know if I could see them moving Grimes, to that second unit. But strange things happen because we're close to Eastern Conference top 4. And when you get that close, sometimes you gotta make that upgrade. I talked about what would have been if the Knicks had taken care of some of these games, man. Talking about the Dallas, the Bulls won, the Toronto loss, all of that. Man, the Knicks would be 10 games over. Let that sink in. Who here would have thought the Knicks could have been 10 games over by the halfway point, heading in? Such as the impact of Randle and Brunson's game, their season, right, being all-stars. You add them with another piece, and you can be legit. Like I said, I think we match up well against the Cavs. We were right there last time. Philly, we were right there with some cheese. The Bucks, without Middleton, we were right there. I think Brook Lopez was the difference in that night. And we bring in another dude, and we give these teams all they can handle right now. The Celtics and the Nets are kind of like maybe creating a bit of division between them and the Bucks and the Cavs. The Nets are on an absolute tear with Kyrie and KD. They know their time's ticking, right? They're not messing around this year. Is Kyrie. I think Kyrie knows he came back. He wants to tear it up, and then maybe win that chip before it's too late. And then he could set his sights on some other things maybe. But it looks like the Nets are for real this season. The Royce O'Neal TJ Warren moves, the Simmons thing. Claxton, they're looking like they've got some legit help now. You know, you get Kyrie, KD, and Simmons some legit help, and they can do some things. You know. Yep. Looks like Randle is here to stay. C-Dub. Yep. Looks like Randle's here to stay. The rumors of Miles Turner continue and will continue, fam. Yep. I won't be surprised because Turner's CAA from Dallas, connections with Randle. But I think it's going to come down to salary as well for Turner's extension, asking price, and also Mitch. Obviously, the way Mitch is playing, they might be fully sold. Is Leon, and just pass on that Turner deal. But yeah, they have been interested in Turner, absolutely. Yeah, fam. With that said, yeah, Obi can't continue. I love Obi, but 10, 15 minutes, it's just not the right thing for the club, and it's not the right thing for him right now. Yeah, if it's at a point where he's playing 20 minutes, 25 minutes, then yeah, that's a piece you can move forward with, off the bench or starting or whatever. But with Tom Thibodeau here, that's the biggest factor up in here, ladies and gents. Tom Thibodeau, because Leon Rose is sitting back. I think he's letting Tibbs coach this team the way he wants. He did Cam dirty, and he did whatever he want to Kemba, Fournier. I think Tom Thibodeau holds the key to playing Obi more minutes. At the small ball, 4 or 5 look. Yeah, with Mitch playing 2 years ago against the Hawks, that would have made that playoff series really interesting. I don't think Mitch is the player he is now. This Mitch we're seeing now would have absolutely been the difference in that series against Capella. He would have kept Capella off the glass. 2 years ago, he would have helped us a lot. Maybe not enough to win, but maybe definitely make it a series, fam. Make it a 6-7 game series with Mitch. Because Capella, he absolutely dominated Capella that series, man. Obviously, Trae Young could do whatever he wanted, but now with the Grimes and McBride and Brunson playing tough, Trae Young wouldn't have got away with what he did. Fam, yeah, Mavs waved him, yeah. Yep. Blessings to you, Chris. Blessings, many blessings to you. Hope everyone's well as well. You've got our thoughts out here, and the Knicks Streets community, the chat, Knicks Nation. We're 5 games over. Let's keep this thing buzzing. Smash that like button as well. We'll be back in the blink of an eye because next game's coming up thick and fast. Sunday, we here, and the New York Knicks are climbing the East right now. We know what kind of weaknesses we got, what things we got to improve on and upgrade. Let the trade buzz continue. Leon Rose is going to be talking to teams out here. Teams calling us for pieces. Talk D'Angelo Russell, man. Did you guys hear that D'Angelo Russell quote, man? That was insane. Right now, we're used to the team in the past that being dysfunctional, but we're seeing all kinds of dysfunction around the league, man. Like Minnesota underachieving, Atlanta underachieving right now, man. That used to be us. That used to be us with that sort of ish. The Heat underachieving as well. I mean, the Bulls are still sorry. 19 and 24, 5 games below the Chicago Bulls. Look at all the money they spent, man, as well. Imagine spending all that money to be 11th. Levine, Vucevic, DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, Caruso. right there, man. They let Lowry Markkanen go, right? They're going to be feeling some type of way about that. I think they traded Wendell Carter as well. They got Patrick Williams. Man, they gave away their whole youth movement to sign these sorry veterans. You know, I mean, Chicago Bulls are sorry right now. They would be a lot better with Lonzo. You know, no lies. Lonzo Ball is the key for the Chicago Bulls. They've definitely missed him and missed his help. You know, we're seeing what it's like without a point guard. But yeah, it's tough for that organization, man, to have that kind of payroll. Zach LaVine might be ready to skip as well. 5 games below, right, in the 11th seed with all that talent, all that payroll as well. That's despicable, really. I mean, you're only 3 games better than the rebuilding Magic, right? And you spent all that money. That's tough. Yeah. C-Dubs on point. Yeah. The Minnesota Timberwolves screwed themselves too. Yep. That's why you got to be smart. Yep, spending the money. Yep, Buzzers on point too. The sorry Lakers struggling as well. Yeah. Almighty's going to be mad if we trade for the Levine situation. Yeah, I can pass on Levine as well. It's tough because I love Levine's game. You know, he can help, but it's like, again, you've got to have some kind of ability to foreshadow what's going to happen. Like the Bulls, you know, they thought Vucevic, DeRozan, and Levine was going to get them up there, but you need two-way guys. You know, Quickley and Grimes can defend and score, right? Zach LaVine can score in bunches, but he can't defend. You know, can't defend. We got guys like Brunson and Randle that have the ball all the time too. So you take the ball out of their hands to give the ball to Levine, then suddenly they're not as effective. You know, so your move's got to be something that upgrades your team, not go sideways. You know, not take it away from what's going well to add something else. You know, ideally a dude that's going to complement everybody with that, and a very efficient shot maker. You know, not a volume scorer. You know, we got 3 guys that can score in volume. You know, like Killer says, yeah, we could do without Levine, but it is going to be tempting. You know, if let's say he says, oh, I would like to go to the Knicks, you know, I'll be interested to see what Leon Rose thinks of that. You know, the contract, it's not good. You know, 200 mil, and we need efficiency up in here. You know, and defense too. We need length and size. Ideally, like Finesse keeps saying, and ideally, if I see this team making any key upgrades, it's at the 5 or it's at the 3. You know, you keep RJ because you're paying him. You move him to the 2. You know, you either trade Quentin Grimes in a blockbuster deal. I'm talking blockbuster, or Grimes under cost control. You push him to the bench, and you upgrade big with the 3. They're the only 2 moves I could see us changing with the starting 5 in terms of future upgrades. You know, Brunson's family now up in here. You know, I'd be shocked if he's traded. Randle would be shocked if he's traded as well. So, with that said, it's basically either with an RJ's here, so it's either Grimes or the 5 spot. You know, Grimes is just going to be in that package if any star player under contract wants to be traded to the Knicks. You know, Grimes is going to be that player the other team, calls for as well. Let's say if it is a Devin Booker, Joel Embiid, Jalen Brown from Boston, with those kind of upper tier superstars, if you Quentin Grimes' name gets the conversation started with those teams, where they don't hang up the phone, kind of thing, because they're going to want to fleece us, yeah, yeah, someone like a LaMelo, yeah, definitely, not saying I would give up Grimes. I want to keep Grimes here. I'm just saying from the other team's perspective, if they're trading us a superstar, right, they're not staying on the phone unless you mention Grimes' name. So, and picks. But I hope this team keeps to look at the free agent situation, because I hate keep trading for guys. You keep having to gut your team for less talent. I mean, less volume of talent. And you need these assets. So let's look at the free agent, situation as well. I do think Spider's going to want to come home as well. I don't see Cleveland in the next 1.5 years contending, right? He opens up unrestricted free agency and he gives the Knicks a meeting. Absolutely, right? A growing, surging Knicks team that's still young. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers' best chance would be to extend Spider right now, offer him the super max, right? If they wait till the summer or next trade deadline when he's almost becoming an unrestricted free agent, the clock's ticking on them, right? They're playing Russian roulette right now with the Spider trade, right? They gave away all those picks as well, but they were in a solid position where they could, they had Garland, Mobley, and Jarrett Allen, as well as some other young players, so they could have made that risk. But everyone's forgetting how soon that's going to come up, because when this season's finished, it's just one more season, and then create the Donovan Mitchell trade buzz with that extension free agency as well. So they've got a huge decision to make to Cleveland. They're going to have to make a huge run right now between Philly, the Bucks, the Nets, and the Celtics. It's going to be a dogfight between the Cavs. If they could get to the second, third round, it's still going to be tough. It's going to be tough for them, man. So, with that said, we're very, very close now to the trade deadline, fam. Feb 9, is it? So we're officially 3 weeks away. We start the clock, fam. I'm gonna start putting a graphic on the top of the screen to count down when the trade deadline is, ladies and gents, with a ticker, and we get this buzz amplified up in this thing, right? 5 games over. Let's take care of business now against Detroit and against Toronto, Washington again, and Atlanta, right? And let's get 9 games over and start making some deals. Yeah. Yeah, I can't see the Cavs winning that chip yet either, fam. Yeah. At least one more year of gelling. Jarrett Allen's still young. Mobley's still young as well. He hasn't quite taken that leap everyone expected him yet. Same with Scotty Barnes, That's one of the reasons everyone thought Toronto would be so great, was that Scotty Barnes was going to take a huge leap, like Evan Mobley. But their rookie seasons were so impressive that they kind of didn't have any room to really go to that next step yet. They kind of are what they are. So let's see, fam. Let's see. I'm still very high on internal growth for this team, because RJ Barrett, Quentin Grimes, next to Randle and Brunson, if their games continue to ascend and go to that next level, we're still in business with that. So with the shooting, defensive plays, playmaking as well, we're looking nice. We are in a flexible situation, and we're able to see what comes up. But let's get it on the next one as well. Chat's been buzzing. Smash that like button. And we here, Knicks Nation, the best fan base in the world, the best team, the best arena, best podcasts. Let's go. Appreciate everyone rocking out. Enjoy your Saturday, weekend, wherever you're at. And let's get this next one on Sunday. Let's go. Peace. Salute.